Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it's showtime. I hate when this thing says showtime. I really hate doing this. Good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Afternoon with Color Commentary. Yours truly, Color, going to bring you all the action today. We got all the boys in back. I was trying to get my show going, and then the whole team just dropped in on me, half the team at least. And so, no monologue today from Color. We're going to go through the tail of the tape. We got Sean over from Red, White, and Bills joining us. And so today's monologue is going to be, the same as it always is. You're going to hear us talking. So sit back and get ready to enjoy.
I mean, you just look around the locker room. You see the guys we have, and then when you actually watch the film and watch what we've done, and there is some good to take from some things that we've done, and then also there is plenty of lessons that we had to learn throughout these games that we've lost and won, honestly. But man, we grind during the week. We really prepare. We try to self-correct a lot of things. We put that pressure on each other. We hold each other to a high standard, and we just got to keep going. I think like we still in the race. It ain't like we it ain't like we can't correct what's going on. So we gonna. I mean, I hope everybody else thinks the same way as me, but I keep hoping till I can't keep hope no more until like the reality is that I can't have hope anymore. So that's just how I'm wired, and I feel like we got a good group of guys who are wired like that as well in here. So that's it. We just got to keep going, keep pushing.
That's right. You got to keep going. You got to keep pushing. You know why? Because you're a professional, and that's all you can do with your time on this earth. Jalen Ramsey explaining to you exactly how I feel about hope, because that's all that's left. So let's hope he can correct his issues too. But I don't see anything there where he wasn't expecting himself to be the same and have to correct issues he's having on the field. But look, I mean, he's right. Long as there's time, it can be corrected. And I kind of like his mannerisms there. He's like, yo, he kind of is like, let's be real here. Look at the film. I don't know, man. I just don't. There is reason to have hope. Today's show, icing on the cake. There's 2 cakes being built. There's the Buffalo Bills cake, in which they could put icing on it by taking care of us. And then there's the cake we're building, where we need to beat them, and we need to beat them in a way that shows that we know how to end a ball game when we got control of it. And that's called icing the game. And that's the cake we're building, and that's the icing we need. So I'm going to bring the boys up. Welcome to everybody. Hit the like button if you want to hear El Capitan Lewis, and of course, one of our friends over at Red, White, and Bill, Sean, joining us today to tell us why we have no hope, why we should have no hope, because his Bills are going to take care of us up in Skidmark Stadium, as it's known around these parts. So welcome to everybody. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, go to tftgnetwork.com and bookmark it, make it your homepage, because it's got everything you need to know about the Fins Tailgate, including the shop, including all of our bios, social media links, all of that. And
what up?
Other than that, what do you guys think? Am I just like completely delusional here? Well, I guess we'll start with the proprietor of this great network, El Capitan, who is en route.
So I would say this, right? Dolphins are 0-8 in the last 8 meetings with this football team. That's the facts. We haven't won a single game the past 8 times. That's not good. That's bad. But would I say that I'm not going to hope for a win? No, I'm not going to do that. Is it a hard? You know what? Here's the thing, and this is weird, right? Like in any other football team, if Jalen Ramsey was on your football team, he would be the guy you talked about every week for whatever reason, good or bad. But on this team, he's just one of the many superstars we have. And then it kind of dawns on me. I'm thinking, as much as I'm hearing, that you just played Jalen Ramsey, he's not really a point of discussion. And this is his 2nd year with the Fins. And it's just weird that it feels like to me the Dolphins currently constructed is a team full of guys. It doesn't feel like a team at all, right? It just feels like there's guys on here. And the way in which they're playing at the end of last year and all of this year, they don't look like a team that has any cohesion. That's not a football team. It's a bunch of guys with superstar talent, mind you, on both sides of the ball, trying to make a football team. And right now, yes, we've had some progression in the offense and a little regression on the defense due to injuries on both accounts. Is this the week in which the Dolphins can get it right? I sure hope so, but I would say I wouldn't bet on it, but I literally am a gambler, so I am betting on the Dolphins getting it right. But
well, it goes back to the question I had a day or two ago after Odell said what he said, and I believe that when he referred to finding the identity, I think what he was really saying there was realizing where we're at as a team. Because look, I asked the question: did it mean more to get our mistakes fixed and win against Buffalo, or would it be different if we fixed our mistakes and beat Carolina? And I see it as killing 2 birds with 1 stone, because here's the thing: if we were 6-2 right now, there would be all kinds of grace to be had if we were to lose but play really well. Right now, we're in a situation where in order to beat Buffalo, in order to exercise that demon, we have to correct the mistakes we've been making for the last 10 ball games. Otherwise, we have no shot at beating Buffalo and exercising that demon. So to
And
me,
I'm sure, I don't mean to cut you off, Culler, but
well, to me, it seems that you beat Buffalo. You've proven, number one, that you're correcting mistakes. Number two, you can beat Buffalo. Now what you got to prove is that's only one game, even if it was Buffalo, and you got to move on to the Raiders and fix the same mistakes again. And what that means is we are game to game. And what I think Odell was meaning when he said finding our identity was getting into that groove and realizing we are game by game now. And there's nowhere else this team needs to be.
well, and I would say this, right? Two things. First, I'm sure that Bills and Sean might touch on this momentarily, would love to put the nail in our coffin, because if we lose this game, all hope is lost. It is
right. That's what I'm saying. There's no great. That's what I'm saying. There's no grace to be had for a respectable loss. We'll be 2-6 and our season will be over.
And Bills would love to be the reason why the Dolphins pack it in too. That's number one. Number two.
Go ahead. Finish up.
Number two. This seems to be, and I alluded to it in my first statement, this seems to be the same problem. We don't have any leadership and accountability from a leadership on this football team. And I don't know if that can be fixed in a short sample size like we have.
Well, maybe not.
Because, to that point, Culler, when Tua Tagovailoa and Tyreek Hill and others, superstars, the ones that you would perceive to be captains and leaders of the football team, are busy blaming the fans.
Right.
That's the problem.
Look, I don't want to make it about not looking ahead. That's too cliched. But what I'm meaning by game is, and I'll ask Sean this because I want to get Lewis's opinion on Jalen Ramsey here in a second. But Sean, when I talk about game by game, your team, in your estimation, and I'm asking you this, do you believe that your team is kind of the way it is because they're always in that mentality from the jump?
Yeah, I'd say so. They really live by the go 1-0. Obviously,
so it's not because you're bad; it's because you're good that you have that mentality.
Yeah, they're good at. Obviously, fan bases are different, but the team, they respect every opponent no matter what the record is. They find the good things they do and they try to counter it. They find the bad things they do and try to exploit it. And they don't look at one team like, oh, yeah, we beat Miami all these times. We're gonna wipe the floor with them. They understand the talent you guys got in your team and how important the divisional game is, especially.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah,
See, you guys are game to game. You guys, in your minds, are game to game because you've already got 2 losses, and the Chiefs don't.
Yep.
So you've already been in that So whether a team likes it or not, they're either going to have a terrible season and lose, or they're going to get to that point of game by game, or you're not going to win. And it's not about not looking ahead. It's about saying, we've got to fix the mistakes to beat anybody. So even if we were to accomplish exercising the demon of Buffalo, we still have to do that next week against the Raiders too. I don't care how bad they are, because we've demonstrated this year that it don't matter how good or bad anybody is, because guess what? It never has mattered. It's game by game. And I feel like some of our guys are getting into that groove. Is it going to be quick enough to mean anything for the rest of the season? I'll ask that question to Lewis, because I'm pretty sure it's of his opinion that it don't. But also speak on Jalen Ramsey and how you feel about, what he had to say today, given, his latest level of performance for the past few weeks.
Yeah, I could care less what Jalen Ramsey has to say, because the fact of the matter is, when Tua comes out and says stuff, people don't care. And when Mike McDaniel comes out and says stuff, people don't care. So I'm going to take that same approach and that same energy with Jalen Ramsey. I don't really give a shit what he has to say about, oh, well, when you watch the film, there's some good to take out of it and some bad to take out of it. There's more bad than good. And the fact of the matter is, Jalen Ramsey is, again, one of our supposed leaders and dogs of this football team. And I'm going to use more of the latter. He's been like dog shit more since he's donned a Dolphin uniform. So I'm tired of listening to what they're saying because it just feels like to me what they say don't match what they put on the field. So at this
Right.
point, I don't care what Jalen Ramsey has to say. For me, it's to y'all's point. It's put up or shut up time, right? Like,
right.
Well, real
at.
quick, Lou. My dad would always say, "Don't tell me what you're gonna do. Show me what you've done," and that's the facts.
Exactly. Like again, like Jalen Ramsey it's cute, and he, again, if I would just pose this question: take the voice and put it on Tua's face. Does anybody care what Jalen Ramsey had to say if that's Tua saying it? If
Not
Tua
really.
comes out and exactly,
Although it would have been refreshing to hear Tua say something like that instead of what he said.
Absolutely, and I get it. But what I'm to the point of put Tua's face behind those words, and what is people going to say? We don't want to hear it.
Show
Tua,
me Sunday. They're going to say,
me.
"Show me Sunday."
So why the hell shouldn't I say that to Jalen Ramsey? Fuck what you're talking about. Show me what you're talking about.
Now, that being said, if that does start, if you do start, seeing that, if that does start to get shown to you, now I know that ultimately, because we don't know how that's going to be shown against the next game against the Raiders, you're the type of person that's not going to say it matters whatsoever. But can you objectively see a difference if, that is the kind of things you're starting to see that they are showing it, obviously, because it would take that to even beat Buffalo in the first place. It's not like we're going to get lucky, bro. We've seen so far that Buffalo has not succumbed to any luck on our part. You know what I mean? So I'm not one of these people that believe that if we beat Buffalo, it's because they had a tummy ache. You know what I mean?
Well, what I would say to that, Culler, right? 2 years ago when we beat Buffalo at home, we started that season 3-0. We beat Baltimore week 2. I forgot who we played week 1. I think it was New England.
It was actually the reverse. We played New England, Baltimore. New England, Buffalo, and Baltimore, if I remember correctly.
No.
Was it the other way around? Is Baltimore week 2?
Yes, Baltimore was
okay,
week
so
2.
It was New England, Baltimore, and Buffalo.
Right, and we started 3-0. Right, so to the point of where people are saying, well, if you come out and you beat Buffalo on Sunday, could you see a change? No, I could not. Because the fact of the matter is, I've seen this team, this current head coach, quarterback, whatever, receivers, they beat Buffalo already. Now, it's only been one time, but we've done it. The fact of the matter is, bro, nothing is going to get me excited until this team actually makes the playoffs, wins playoff games, or does something. I'm not going to get excited off one win. I'm sorry. For me,
and I don't blame you for that. I don't blame you for that. I'm just saying, objectively, does it at least give you some indication like, okay, we're at this level right now, and we need to maintain that?
I mean, listen, I feel like that every week.
I know.
So I'm just speaking for myself.
I appreciate you trying for me, Lou. I really do, man. You know what I mean? Like, I know how you feel, bro.
A win on Sunday does nothing for me. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, nothing at all. It gives me maybe something to talk about. But besides that, absolutely nothing. It won't change my outlook of what this team has shown this season.
Mm-hmm.
It just does. It won't, at least for me, it will not.
Now, let me ask you this, though, and this is kind of really far ahead, obviously, but I'm a fan. I'm allowed to do that as long as the players aren't. We beat Buffalo. Then all of a sudden, a few weeks from now, we're sitting at week 13, and we're 7-5 like the rest of the league. Does that at least do we see a different perspective from a guy like Lewis as far as the idea that house needs to be cleaned, all that kind of stuff? Or are we like, everybody's 7-5? Turned out to be sort of respectable. Not the way we started, obviously. You know what I mean? Because I feel like every year the fans at large on every team, we all go through this every year. And by the time we're sitting at week 13, everybody's talking about all the 7-5 teams because they're still alive. And nobody's thinking about, who started 2-5. You know what I mean?
I would say this. I would say this real quick. they lose. Them winning against Buffalo doesn't say much, while them losing to Buffalo screams loudly, and not in a good way.
Of course, because that's what I mean. Let's say we lose to Buffalo, and week 14 we're sitting at 8-6. To me, I'm going to feel the same way I do right now because we still didn't get it done against a good team like Buffalo. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So I don't know, man.
But if we're at 7-5 and we got it done against Buffalo, in order to be 7-5, we're likely going to have to beat the likes of the Packers and, the Jets. I mean, I know they're not back. I'm not one of those people, but obviously they can win.
I know it sounds crazy to say, right? But this is just where I'm at. And I try to gauge where the people I love and respect, right? Where our heads are at. Because all I know for 2 years, all I've heard is, or from the quarterback position for basically almost 4 years now, we don't believe in him. For the last 2 years, we don't believe in Tyreek Hill. For the last 3 years, we don't believe in Jalen Waddle. For the last first 8 games of this season, we don't believe in McDaniel. For the last 3 years, we don't believe in the general manager, Chris Greer. For the past 25 years, we don't believe in the owner. But all of a sudden, we come in these situations, and again, it's going to sound crazy when I say it because we're all Dolphin fans. But it seems like we want to win this game. And the fact of the matter is, to Culler's point, let's say 4 or 5 weeks from now, 6 weeks from now, you're 7-5. And let's say you make the playoffs. And let's say you win a playoff game. All that shit that we talk about, these players, general managers, coaches, owners, all that's coming back next season. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, how do we go from we want the quarterback gone, we don't want this receiver here, we want the coach fired, we want the general manager fired, Monday through Saturday, and then on Sunday we're begging for wins? I don't understand it.
I'll help you with it, Lou, because and I had this discussion with Culler, and I kind of figured out it's hard to accept or even think in a loser mentality, because ultimately we're not losers, right? But conceding losses, it's alien to us Floridians, right? It's alien to us. So then, like, to just inverse hope for losses, it's rough. It's against our nature. And I understand that. Now I agree with you that this is the same discussion I had with Culler, because I said, look, to me, this is going to go. Dolphins are going to win. Well, I told you this too, Luke. Dolphins are going to win 4 more games to have 6 wins and put us in 6 or 7 wins. We're going to be in the discussion about what we can do to retool to run it back or blow it up for 2025, because ultimately that's where our decisions will be, because we won too many games to get up and grab a quarterback.
But in Lewis's scenario, if Lewis is talking about even winning a playoff game, but doesn't that show that we only need a retool, that we were all wrong, and that we only need a retool?
But I'll tell you what, Culler, if they prove me wrong by winning a playoff game, I will be astonished.
No. I don't mean, wait a minute. I don't mean the team proving me wrong. I mean the organization. Like, we do got the right guys. There is only one change that needs to be made, playoff win or not, and that's at QB.
That's where I agree with Culler. I don't think we need to tear this thing down to the studs like we did in 2020 or 2019.
See, I'm there with you on that, Lou. I'm there too. To me, it's kind of foreign to hear all these people. And I agree. I know we do talk about it, but ultimately, I'm thinking about it hard and deep, and it's like,
guys, I'm going to tell you right now.
Thinking about it hard and deep. I was thinking about it more intellectually, and if we're doing all of what we just said, why blow the thing up? It's really only one person that needs to go. Maybe it's 2 or 3. I mean, I'm not going to put it all on Tua. There's 2 or 3 guys that need to get the hell out of here. You know what I mean?
To me, number one, there's no real future with Tua at quarterback. That's what I wholeheartedly believe. I believed it. I kind of started buying in the other direction just in enough time to make it certain that I was right in how I believed. Problem is that you guys got to remember who owns the team and what we're fans of this organization. They won't if they win fucking 6 games, 7 games total. They're probably not going to move off Tua. That's the problem. Much less if they get in the playoffs and win a playoff game. They want Tua. That's what they want, and that's the problem. And to me, it might come to get rid of Chris Greer, Mike McDaniel, and everybody, because that's what it comes with Tua. And I don't want to do that either. But again, I'm damned if I do, and I'm damned if I don't. In every scenario I can believe, because I ultimately don't believe in this organization to right the ship the way we are seeing. Keep the team by and large with the talent it possesses. Address the trenches on the offense and defense, and get a new fucking quarterback by not screwing yourself and winning too many games. That's not what the Dolphins will do. We're Dolphin fans. We have seen us. How many times are we in top 10 draft status with 7 wins, 8 wins, whatever it is, not going to the playoffs, and are cheering and beating the Patriots in the final 2 weeks for us to just get screwed out of fixing it to beat the Patriots ultimately at any given point, to be competitive against them? I've watched that for 20 years, and that's what this organization is. So I don't think, to me, it is systemic with this fan base and organization, because going back again, this owner he will always meddle with the team, meddle around with the team.
I just have a really bad feeling. I have a bad feeling. Yeah, I have a really, really bad feeling that it doesn't matter what happens.
Wait a second, hold on. El
They're
Capitan
going to
stealing
excuse this
TD's
whole
narrative?
thing and run it back anyway.
Culler, Jose's saying I'm stealing his narrative.
I don't even watch TD all day.
I don't even watch TD anymore, bro. Not that I have anything against TD.
Talking about?
I don't even have the time to listen to all the shows we put out. I'm not watching other ones. The fuck is this guy talking about?
Besides, everybody knows that we're like-minded anyway. That's why they all hate us.
That's true. They did nothing but say that, whatever.
Is it odd that we might come up with the same opinion?
I can't help that TD's as smart as I am. Thank God there's somebody around here.
Exactly.
It's just crazy, Cap. One thing you said earlier when I posed the first question, right? You said as Dolphin fans, it's hard for us to concede wins, right? Like face the facts, right? Like that we might lose. But before the season even started, we had us losing to Buffalo. Before the season, we had us losing to the 49ers. Before the season, we were talking about, oh my God, we can't go to Cleveland in mid-December because of loss. So we can concede losses before the season starts, and we know how everything's going to play out or what the NFL is going to look like. But now that the team has played 8 games or 7 games because we had the bye, now you're telling me we can't concede losses?
No, concede as in not try.
Well, but this is what I'm saying. It looks like even when we're trying, we're still losing.
And that may be the case, and that's where I'm at, Lou. Look, if the tank happens naturally, then I'm not going to be like all been out of shape about it, because I'm of the thought that the one thing we haven't tried in all these years is just letting something fail. Because that's when you really have a clear picture of what the problem is and who needs to go. This is what I tried to say the other day when I got rudely interrupted by some Bills fan in a Twitter space. I was trying to say, in order to pin for these people that want Mike McDaniel gone or want to make a change at coach, in order for anybody to pin down Mike McDaniel, you have to be able to stop him from going into Stephen Ross's office with a bunch of film, which I think you made this point, Lou, and saying, look, this is why we're not moving the ball. You can see plain as day right here, Mr. Ross, that, you know what I mean? And Ross is going to go, yup, okay. In order to pin Mike McDaniel down, these players have to execute. Not because it's only their responsibility, but because how are we going to know if McDaniel's not executing if the players don't? As long as you can say player X, Y, and Z didn't do their job, you can only blame McDaniel for not having him prepared to do his job. You can't blame McDaniel for him not doing his job. Because McDaniel can't run out there, take off his headset, and run the plays for these guys.
Absolutely. I think at the end of the day, bro, I think we can all agree, Sean included, right, as an outsider looking at our team, we probably do have a lot of flaws. In my opinion, Mike McDaniel is one of the farthest or least of the flaws that we should be worried about. And that was
Exactly.
my same.
He's a footnote.
That was my same argument that we used to have with the Brian Flores people. When Brian Flores was the worst head coach and he couldn't get his job done. Again, when we hired Brian Flores, we knew what he was coming in here to do. Be disciplined and get the defense fixed. And for the most part, I don't care about rankings or gradings or nothing like that. But on Sundays, when you watch the Miami Dolphins, you more than likely that defense was showing up. And I'm sorry, but when I look at Mike McDaniel, he was supposed to come in here, fix the offense. And in his first 2 seasons, he was ranked 6th and number 1 overall. And to your point, Culler, even this season with a 2-5 record, if you throw on the film, and you've heard Jalen Ramsey now say something about film when they watch it.
Yep.
You heard Tyreek Hill say throw on the film. The fact of the matter is, on the offensive side of the ball, whether it's a running back hitting the wrong hole, or a receiver dropping passes, or a quarterback not throwing the receivers the ball when they're open, Mike McDaniel is holding up his end of the bargain.
Yep. And to Jalen Ramsey's point as well on defense, he knows, oh, I could have taken a better angle to that guy. Oh, I could have done this or that different here on this play to not get burned by a rookie wide receiver all day. You know what I mean? Now, whether he fixes that or not, that's got to be done. I mean, I ain't going to say, oh, everything's hunky-dory because Jalen Ramsey recognizes they got problems on film. It's the point we're trying to make that as long as there are problems on film, Mike McDaniel can take that film into Ross's office and say, look, it ain't my fault. Get me the guy. I didn't draft none of these guys. You know what I mean? I mean, look, I'm not, and this is where I get told I'm a Mike McDaniel apologist. After I just got through saying, if you want to pin him down, why would I want to pin him down if I'm an apologist? I'm saying if you all want to be objective and pin the guy down like people in this community seem to want to do, the players got to execute better. Otherwise, you can't pin Mike McDaniel down. You can only say he didn't have those guys prepared. But those aren't the guys he chose. He's only, I mean, yeah, I guess what? Maybe how many, Lewis, what do you think we got on our squad that are Mike McDaniel chosen players?
Man,
how many of the playmakers and the key players are Mike McDaniel chosen?
Well, I would say Jeff Wilson Jr. is 1, Raheem Mostert 2, Tua's 3. I would say A-Chain was probably his pick 4. Tyreek, you know, I'm sure he wanted him. That's 5. You know, so
right. But then you still got almost the rest of the team constructed by a completely different coaching regime.
Culler, you know where I stand on this, and this is the point I was trying to make on Miss Fins. It just seems like, you know, again, when fans buy jerseys, they're not buying coaches' jerseys, right? They're buying players' jerseys.
Oh, that's a great point.
So the fans will get attached to players, and what they do is, and what we've seen for years now in Miami, since the fans are attached to players, they blame the coaches, right? And the fact of the matter is, again, if I'm outside and I'm throwing the ball with Culler, and I put a perfect pass to Culler, and Culler drops it, for someone to come up and be like, well, Lewis, it was your fault, I'm going to be like, what the hell are you talking about? I hit Culler right in the hands.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So, again, when Mike McDaniel calls a play, and Tua, let's say, with the Waddle drop that we all seen on Sunday, they'll say, well, Mike McDaniel should have ran the ball there. Okay, cool. That's a feeling. But the play that Mike McDaniel called was executed, but it wasn't. It was a drop by wide receiver. But they'll give the wide receiver a pass color. You know why? Because 30,000 fans have a Jalen Waddle jersey in that state.
Exactly.
And they don't. There's not 30,000 people with a Mike McDaniel T-shirt on. You see the difference? And that's all I'm saying, bro. In my opinion, is Mike McDaniel absolved of any blame? No. He deserves blame when it's warranted, and we all know those.
Which, by the way, I'll turn right around and say that I've harped on it all week. That 2nd and 12 that we should have got 1 yard on could have been the whole difference in the game. Like that 1 yard on that 2nd and 12 could have burned us 90 more seconds off the clock.
Absolutely, bro. And that's a flaw that Mike McDaniel has to be better
Right,
in.
but he's got an Ivy League education. So why would I not expect him to also have figured that out if I figured it out?
I mean, does it sound, and maybe it's just me, right? And I'll pose this question to you and Sean, Culler. The fact of the matter is, does it sound crazy to anybody besides me that after 2 years and going into 9 games of his 3rd season, we're already asking for the coach to be fired? I mean, does that sound like just crazy to anybody else but me?
Not just you. I mean, again, as somebody who wanted him to have a 10-year contract coming in, this ain't about supporting Flo or supporting McDaniel more. This is about stopping the stupid revolving door of coaches, which is why we haven't won. And we can pin it on the number of quarterbacks we've had. Why have we had that number of quarterbacks that we had? Because of the number of coaches we've had.
I'm not surprised, though, that people are thinking that way. It's stupid, but, that's how the fans, they want the results immediately. They don't want to wait because they see other teams get instant success. And
but they're willing to tank, Sean. They're willing to tank
that's
and ruin the team for 3 years, but
exactly.
not give the coach a 7-year plan.
Exactly, yeah. And Lewis and I, Miss Vince, were talking earlier. Coaching, it obviously matters, and you guys aren't saying it doesn't matter, but people think it's all that matters, and that's where Lewis is talking about, where your fan base puts it all on the coaching. But for me, like for my team, and I was saying it earlier, I blame the coaching for mismanaging time, for play design, play calls, and
personnel decisions,
penalties, because it's the players, but it's the discipline that the coaches should be instilling in the players. But also, if you see a continuous mistake happening so say your left tackle has a false start twice a game, and every week he still has 2 false starts a game, that's on coaching because you're not doing anything about your player false starting twice a game. But like in the macro of it, the players got to play, because like Lewis pointed out, you could have a perfect play design, Tua misses the correct read, throws it to a guy that could still be open, but then overthrows them. Or
what about when he hits the correct read? What about when he hits the correct read, but there's a better one?
Exactly. Yeah.
But hold on.
Exactly.
But hold on, real quick, because I'm glad, Sean, you brought up that point about the offensive lineman. Let's say false starting. It is right. The fact of the matter is, I don't blame that on coaching. And let me tell you why.
Right.
Because every Sunday I watch Kansas City and their new left tackle, right? Even since last year, he false starts almost on every play. Is Andy Reid a bad coach?
Right.
No. Does Andy Reid not know what he's doing? Do you think Andy Reid is not going into meeting rooms and telling that guy, "Hey man, you got to be better. Look what you're doing." But the fact of the matter is, it's still on the player, bro.
Right. That's all he can say.
Oh yeah, 100%.
There's no vitamin he's going to give that left tackle to make him not false start anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
in our fan base, people want to believe that Mike McDaniel is not trying to coach players when the players make a mistake. They want to make people like me believe that Mike McDaniel is just letting that shit ride.
That's
Like
why
that's
weighted really, really low on my scale of what I blame
Yeah.
McDaniel for. You know what I
Well,
mean? Like,
yeah.
so when there's
Again,
when there's a lack of execution, I don't turn around and say, oh well, it's also McDaniel's fault because he needs to have them prepared to play. Well, what the hell is he supposed to do? There's no vitamin.
so
Real quick, I'm sorry again, Cap. We got Pete real quick with a $2 donation. He says, "Tell us how we'll beat Buffalo, please." He's dying to hear positive takes. In a second, Pete, I will actually let Sean tell you how we're going to beat Buffalo. That's how we roll around the tailgate. We invite people in from the other fan base, and then we railroad them by making them tell us how we're going to beat them.
Well, I'm just going to give my take real quick before Sean goes. Pete, I know exactly how we beat Buffalo. You don't start Skylar Thompson. Because if you don't start Skylar, you got a chance. But if you start Skylar, you're damn losing.
That's not guaranteed.
I want to let Cap cook, but real quick, see, this is what I'm talking about with the knee-jerk stuff, Lewis. S. Harris thinks he got me. He's like, yo, I'm crying. Culler said, name a player on offense that McDaniel got to pick. And Lewis names 18 players. I'm in tears. And that may seem like a gotcha to me, right? There are 53 players on the squad, dude. 18 is not a lot, actually. So, knee-jerk somewhere else. You didn't get the gotcha you thought you got.
So I would say this: if I'm gonna, where my most pivotal point of criticism of Mike McDaniel is this: there's no leadership on this team, not from the players, and certainly not from the coaching staff. And it's been all year by the undisciplined football that I've seen out of the football team, the penalties and everything. He has created a culture where Dolphin fans have become numb, and it's expected, and we excuse rest days. Rest days. If you need rest, now, okay, fine, you're nicked up, fine, I get that, but it's every week. We don't even practice guys all off season because they're older and we're paying them the most money, and then all of a sudden when they come out and it ain't working, because you can say what you like, and I get Teron Armstead, guy that you want to protect because of his limitations and all that stuff. I would put you could then shuffle that up to Chris Greer on that, but when there's no cohesion because you need all the guys to be on the same page, that's why, again, it looks like a bunch of guys and superstars trying to make a football team before my very eyes. Because I would say what Mike McDaniel has bred is a pussy culture of bitch freaking attitude where these boys think that this is a freaking country club and they treat it like that. And I'm about it. And now, listen, I like Mike McDaniel because I do think he's a young guy and a young coach that is realizing where he fucked up. And I want to see if we can give him time to do it. Because I do, look, I'll put it like this. I've been a part of football teams that everybody's chummy and having a good time, but at the same time, everybody's working their asses off. You know what I'm saying? And their end result is good. I've been a part of teams that everybody was a dog and there was no horsing around, and we were all, suit and tie and ready to be about business, and those were good football teams too. I have never been a part of a football team that didn't work hard and goofed around and had fucking rest days and had anything. Those squads do shit. They always do shit. It might be the funnest year you have playing, but there's no discipline in the team. There's no coaching it up. There's no full live action running of the plays to see where the fucking problems can arise. That's why when Mike McDaniel goes to call a play, he's just calling random plays. There's no need to read the defense because he couldn't tell what it would look like if it was being done to him until he sees it today. And that's the fucking problem.
To your point about culture, Cap, real quick, if I could.
Sure.
That's one thing I love about McDermott is he came in and he got rid of a ton of people that didn't fit what he wanted in his football team. And then you see it even now. We got rid of one of the best receivers in the NFL because he didn't fit with what we wanted to do with our team. We ate $31 million because he didn't fit with what we were going through, going forward with. And you see stuff like, how Tyreek Hill gets into it with people on Twitter. Oh, I'm just a blocker now. You'll never see that with anyone from the Bills, and if you did, they're gone the next week. So it's about culture, and it's important. And McDaniel's
Well,
got to
that
have
has
time.
to do with the
He's got to have
support from
time.
y'all. That has to do with the support from y'all's front office, bro.
Nah,
Exactly. It takes a couple. It takes
Culler.
a couple years. It takes a couple years to really get to it. But the problem I think Mike has is he feels like his job is on the line like every year, because he basically said, I need to make Tua the best version of himself. And if you get rid of bad culture people that have talent, he feels like they won't give him the grace, because Flores didn't get grace because he got kicked out right out the door for those same reasons.
And to your point, I liked Flores, and that's why it makes it a little extra spicy for me. And I do my best to not lay that on the feet of Mike McDaniel, because he ain't got nothing to do with that.
Right.
I will lay this. Mike McDaniel got the job to be the anti-Flores. And that's what they wanted. That's what this organization is propped up. That's what they always want. That's the thing. It's what they always want. They want this type of characterization.
Well, if that's the case,
and listen, when Adam Gase
they
came
need to see
here,
it through. Then they need to see it through and prove themselves right or wrong, and not.
That's the problem, Culler. They won't, and I agree with that. That's why I say I agree with your point of let Mike McDaniel fail. Meaning, I want to see him get another quarterback. I want to see if these guys quit on him. I want to see if he's got the nuts to fire the guys that quit on him and do something about it. I want to see if his attitude changes and he changes his coaching style, because I think he's got the talent. I do think he's got the talent.
I disagree, though, what Sean was saying. You got rid of that big-time receiver this year. But for 2 years now, we had seen that number one receiver on the sideline throwing tantrums. We had seen that number one receiver talking crap to your starting quarterback. And for 2 years straight, he was doing that. He was never gone the following week. He was never up out of the building. You see, these are the narratives that people will hear, and they'll be like, yeah, that goes around the league, and Mike McDaniel don't do it. Stop. It don't exist.
He got you there,
like that.
Sean. You rewriting history. He got you there.
That's also not correct, because it wasn't 2 years straight. It was.
Oh, dang.
Well, that just goes to show you God don't like ugly.
I was gonna say, God is spoken.
Yeah. Good Lord stepped in and said, "We won't be letting no lying happen."
Culler's an atheist, but we here at the Finns Tailgate believe in God's authority, and God has spoken.
I'll give you another one real quick. Go back early in this season and watch Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver George Pickens half-assing it on routes, not running through blocks, right? Everybody complaining. Now, that's Mike Tomlin over there. That's Mike Tomlin, right? One of the most respected coaches in the league. Is George Pickens off that team? Was he cut and released? And again, if you don't believe me, go throw on the film early of the season and listen to what they were saying about George Pickens and watch him.
I think what you're alluding to is the fact that there is so much on a daily basis that goes on in these locker rooms and these organizations that we have no idea about.
Thank you.
Well, I've been in the locker rooms.
Gets factored
Hold on,
in.
guys.
It's like this. Well, real quick, bro. It's like when you're learning about history. One of the things that people, even myself, who's into it real heavily and understands this aspect, one of the things that happens is when you're learning about history and we all hear about these different events, right? That's the only reason you're hearing about history, because of this battle or this thing that happened or whatever. But most days in history are just like today. Absolutely nothing happened. You know what I mean? So, like, we only know what we see. We don't know what goes on every hour of the day between all these human beings, you know, in this organization and how it ends up
So,
affecting their decisions
real
about
quick,
what
Culler,
they do.
I can give a live action example, and this is the thing I hope that is changing for Mike McDaniel to do something about something. And you guys talk about George Pickens and diva wide receivers, right? That's kind of a good example to use when we're talking about what's going on behind the scenes. On my son's team, we got a superstar just like, a lot of teams. He is by far the best football player on the entire team. Head coach's son gets coached hard by his father, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. But he's God-given talent, head and shoulders above every kid on the team. Now, last year, he's 12 years old, right? He's a kid. He, because it's football comes easy to him, he doesn't need to know as much. He has the God-given ability to overcome. But he also, because he doesn't need to know, causes him to slack off. And when he's slacking off and goofing off, he's distracting the other kids from figuring that out to play even half as good as him, to not be liabilities on the field. I, as a coach this year, had talked to him a couple times and explained what I just said to you guys as a kid, so can't give it to him all that way. I've seen from the start of this season to the end of the season a growth as the leader of the team. And I'm like, listen, you're this team's leader. They'll only follow you. There's a couple of them that got to step up and lead as well, but they're only going to follow you. And it took time, and it's still going to take time, right? This is a lesson you're going to have to learn over 1,000 times. Sometimes you don't even know you're supposed to be the leader. But I can promise you this. If you think of yourself as a leader or someone who, turns around and sees people following you, and you're sitting around here leaderless, step up. And right now, our coaches are putting that on them. Our players aren't taking that accountability. And until that changes, the Miami Dolphins aren't gonna go anywhere.
So Red, White, and Bills is back. Sean, we have gotten the determination from God that you were incorrect. So just to let you know. See.
The Lord, but my
That's fine.
Sean,
I could be wrong. It doesn't,
Well, whenever somebody gets interrupted by a disconnection, that is God determining that they're
That's
wrong
fine. Yeah,
around here.
you guys could be right. For for 35 games straight, Diggs was causing problems. So you guys got it.
No, I'm glad you're back. But real quick, for a great example of not knowing anything, like there was a guy, I forget who it was, real famous emperor, real great leader, like big time, like obviously he's a man of history. But the guy ended up dying by accidentally falling off his horse and drowning in a river. Like, you actually believe that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're relying on people that could barely read and write to tell us that some brilliant leader fell off his horse and drowned in a river.
No, yeah, he could have had a heart attack, then fell off his horse.
Well, I'm pretty sure there was all kinds of action going on that we don't know about and we'll never know about that
I'm sure.
responsible for the guy's death. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I'm sure the narrative back then was, man, what an idiot this guy was. He didn't even know how to ride a horse.
I'm sure.
And it's just the way it is. But I'm glad you're back, though, Sean. If everybody's got their last wind out, we're joined by Crypto. Appreciate it, Crypto. How you doing today, man?
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Which cake?
Which
cake is going to get the icing? The Buffalo season cake, or the Dolphins? We got to learn how to ice a game when we're up by 4 with 3 minutes left. Cake. Which one's going to get the icing? Crypto's like, I don't want to answer that nonsense.
Assuming we have a 4-point lead within any amount in any stretch of the game, they will have to end the game right then and there. Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yep, we got you.
No, I'm saying assuming if anybody think that the game is going to be ended as soon as we get the lead, that will be our only advantage. At any point that we take the lead, they have to end it right then and there because I'm assuming it's not going to last.
All right. Fine by you. But really quick, now that we got Sean back, I'm gonna run through the tape real quick, and we're gonna have the Buffalo fan tell us all how we're gonna beat them. Really quick, I ran through this Wednesday, but just to review, Miami 6-point underdogs in Buffalo, 49.5 point over under. Buffalo's 73.4% chance to win the game according to ESPN Analytics. And of course, their last 5 ball games, Buffalo's 3-2, beating the Seahawks, the Titans, and the Jets, losing to the Texans and the Ravens. And of course, we are 1-4 in our last 5, losing to the Cardinals, the Colts, winning against the Patriots, losing to the Titans and the Seahawks. Game time weather is expected to be around 59 degrees, feeling like 56. 8-mile-an-hour wind, humidity 40%, and no precipitation, but 95% cloud cover. So that ought to be nice, cold, and miserable. Overcast day, but not windy. Buffalo. Where are you at, Buffalo? Where are you at? Oh, Buffalo giving up 328.4 total yards per game, 208 on the ground, 208 in the air, 120 on the ground. The Dolphins giving up 300 yards per game. That's 176.3 in the air, 123.7 yards per game on the ground. Dolphins giving up 22.4 points a game, and the Buffalo Bills giving up 18.3. So, Sean, pray tell, how are the Dolphins going to beat y'all's ass?
Well, you can hope that they all die in a bus crash to the stadium. That's one.
Damn, Sean, you've been listening to my takes?
I had to say that because I knew you were up here. But no, I mean, if you could consistently run the football, that's our one crux of our team. Yeah, we give up yardage, but we really buckle down, especially in the red zone, and we do really good with in-game adjustment. So it's going to be an inner chess match with the coaching staff. So again, this is where coaching does matter, because yeah, it's player execution. But when my team adjusts and my coach adjusts, is your coach going to do the same? Is he going to make the proper adjustment? So run the football well, pass efficiently, because as you've seen with Tua against the Buffalo Bills, he's none of the sort. 7 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Even in that game that you guys won, he hardly passed the football. So,
wow, that sounds like our record in the last 17 ball games. You know, we're 7-10 since Germany.
Yeah,
did y'all know that?
Yeah, but yeah.
I recall you saying that on the last stream.
And you got to take advantage too. So
17-game sample. Yeah,
we've been bad with penalties as well. A couple games. So if we're 2nd and 5, and all of a sudden we get a holding call, and you back us up 15 yards, and then it's a 3rd and long. If you could get us to situations like that and take advantage of them, and then you score with your because that high-powered offense is still inside of that team. It's just hasn't been that this year and the last couple games last year. But you still got the talent.
Pause for a second. That is a great take. The high-powered offense is still inside us somewhere. Yeah, somewhere. I like that though. That's why nobody wants to be like, yeah, our season's the ones with a shred of hope are feeling that way, Sean. Like somewhere inside there, all it has to do is break out once. The problem is it's got to break out at least 8 more times this season for us to have any real chance.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, again, division games are always tough, no matter what the records are, no matter what the talent level is. So I never expect to go in and just dominate every single game and win every game. So 2 talented teams. We've had the better end of the stick, but doesn't mean that you guys can't get one.
Yeah, that is something about
any
the
chance
offense,
we can do wife swap and trade quarterbacks for the week? I mean, any chance of that at all?
Well,
I always did say, if you guys said Josh Allen, you probably would have won a Super Bowl by now.
Go ahead, Cap.
It is something about the offense, right? Like, as many times as they did it last year, that show, all they got to do is put on that show again. Now, is that enough with the defense? That seems to be reeling a little bit through injury. I don't know. I like Weaver. I think he's pretty good. I think, if Zach Sealer comes back, that'll change everything too. But, I mean, it's a tall fucking ass to even compete with this team minus the issues the Dolphins are already experiencing. Just because of how the Dolphins have continuously showed up at some point in the game, typically around the third quarter, Color.
Mm-hmm.
The Dolphins start shooting themselves in the foot while the Bills seem to out-physicaling them.
Oh, that's another requirement. We cannot have a goose egg in the third quarter, obviously.
That is the biggest requirement.
I gotta say something about Lewis said it a couple of times over the last couple of days. Lewis, if you hear me, you can verify this. You said if Kyler Murray was on our team, we win that game because of what he did dynamically to do it.
Yes, he said that this morning, as a matter of fact. Yes, he absolutely said that this morning.
And it just dawned on me that Kyler Murray style game almost beat the Bills. So given that analogy, our quarterback will almost have to play like Kyler Murray just to make a game of it.
Well,
I think about it.
Crypto, to your point, on top of Lou's point, Mike McDaniel and the Miami Dolphins and Tua, most importantly, all knew this to be a fact last year.
Yes,
and what
they did.
Worked on this offseason by losing weight to become more mobile and more of a threat with his legs. Falling short of those requirements that we had hoped to meet.
Those extension of plays, right?
What's the mistake they made?
And that almost beat the Bills. They had a 17-point lead on the Bills.
Okay,
you want me to tell you what the mistake was to doing that? I'll tell you,
what was their mistake in doing that? Right.
Worrying a fuck about what to do to beat somebody rather than worrying about making your team better. That's what.
Well, here's the thing. In my opinion, I think the mistake was the same mistake all of our two-dimensional fans make, is that running the ball is the only way to extend a play. That wasn't what I wanted to share. Let me get another one. Running the ball is not the only way to extend a play.
Well, again,
buying yourself time is the way to extend the play.
And real quick, that was actually what I wanted to share. I thought for some reason I thought it was a video player. I'm like, no, that wasn't what I wanted. No video. I'm allowed to share a clip. They can't get me for that. But here you go. So we're talking about a good 11-yard play made right here for a first down to Mostert, who gets blown up by these two defenders.
Well,
and
look at
this
the
guy
second level opening up, though, Color.
Right.
Look at the second level about to open up.
And look at the pocket. Plenty of time to let that develop. Okay. Now, you might say, well, how are you going to criticize a good play like an 11-yard first down, right? Well, this is exactly what we're talking about, where mobility isn't always running to extend the play. Mobility would be making sure you maneuver around in this clean pocket to orient yourself to be able to let this develop and hit this right here at the hash mark for a likely touchdown, because Durham Smythe will roll right over this dude into the
So
end
real
zone.
quick, Color, I just want to say something.
That's extending a play.
In this pocket,
you're extending
on their
the play.
In this pocket,
you're not
right?
extending the time. You're extending the play.
In this pocket, right? In this pocket, right? The third
Small
route
stuff
that's
like
gonna
that is key.
The third route that can open up is Jonnu Smith right there on a seam or a seam, and it did. So okay, real quick. Here's ultimately why mobility is a non-factor with this quarterback. Number one, he doesn't need mobility with the pocket currently like it is. Okay. And what you're
Right.
saying about being mobile in the pocket, fine. What I'm saying is the problem why that doesn't even matter, because it didn't matter for him to lose weight, gain weight, none of that. He
Well,
could
it
do
didn't
it.
matter on this one.
Well, no,
Okay.
I'm saying ultimately it doesn't matter all the way, because the thing in which Tua will never possess is the ability to hang in the pocket to the very last second and get blasted like a lot of quarterbacks do. And to me, he's worried about it. That's why he's still worried about throwing the ball on this timing route rather than worrying about staying where he's at to throw it deep downfield.
The thing that kills me, Cap, is look at his eyes right here. They're right at Durham Smythe. He sees
I
this
get you.
developing.
So here's again, Culler, I get you, right? Taking Mostert underneath. Fine. He is the current open guy. You can also see with the pocket that he has, you got a whole nother second probably, hopefully,
right,
to hang in this pocket.
Well, the
second part of the route is coming across the top. Who is that? Is that Julian Hill?
That's Durham Smythe.
Okay. He's going to be there, but that safety's coming down over too. And then the third read in the route concept.
Here's the thing. This guy's already dug in.
He's coming downhill. It's going to open underneath.
This guy's got his frame open. Okay, he could
come to Durham Smythe in the middle of the field. He can meet Durham Smythe
on the hash mark right here. Now, here's the part that gets me. Okay, he didn't spot throw this right here because that would have actually given Mostert a lot of grass to play with.
He let Mostert leak across the front
right here, but while both these guys came down to tackle him right after he caught the ball.
Again, from what I can see in a play design.
So he did wait another second and still took this nonsense.
The throw to Durham Smythe is 0.3 seconds. You have to let that middle linebacker come down a little further to get the ball over him. Problem is the safety's coming.
Right. Well, here's the thing. At first, when I first looked at this play the night of the game, I thought, wow, that would be more of a big boy throw, right? To Smythe. You know what I mean? Obviously. But then I thought, you know what? I was watching it enough times. I'm like, wait a minute here. Let's count the yardage. Look where 2 is at. That's 5 yards. That's 10 yards. That's 15 yards. That's 20. That's 25. That's a 25-yard pass, dude. That's not a big boy throw.
Well, I wouldn't think that's the big boy throw. Again, and the linebacker, even though he's coming downhill, he'll still be in the way of the throw, which could impede.
A 30-yard strike on a rope to right here would be a touchdown, bro.
But you wouldn't on this play color. You wouldn't need to throw a strike. You would need to loft the ball away.
But still with a little, like he's got to get it out to right here.
That's Durham Smythe running there. You got to also account for his time to drift to the middle of the field there.
Even put it right here. Again, right here is actually optimal.
That's where you want it to go, but the linebacker's kind of almost diagonally across from him.
You can't get it over this guy. I've seen Tua make
I got you, Culler.
Bro.
Culler, I got you, dog. I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying what he's looking at in those milliseconds, right? That's all I'm saying.
Look at the
in the milliseconds. To me,
look at the pocket, bro.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem.
My mother called this guy out, bro. Called this play out. She's sitting right up here.
Sean, you guys got Bills fan down here in DC riding bicycles.
Oh, that's what they're doing now.
Yeah, he's got a Bills gear on, riding a bicycle in the middle of the street, in the middle of DC.
Well,
he's got a squeegee in his hand.
Right here.
Yeah, he's got a squeegee.
This is why Tua didn't throw it, Cap. And this is the problem. S. Harris thinks it's a good point. It's not. This is precisely the problem, S. Harris. Tua don't need to be giving a shit what I say about his pick if that's what happened.
Again, right? Like, to me,
you don't
with
need
the
to be
pocket,
worried about what fans might say.
He
just needs to make the damn play.
To me, with the pocket that he had, I could see with the safety coming down and the linebacker getting in the line of sight, I could see how Tua could perceive that window to be too tight to
So
get
could
the
I.
ball to
So
Smythe.
could I. So
But
could I,
the
because
but
he's
the
an
f- but the
inferior
out
quarterback.
route,
Because he is an
the
inferior
flag route,
quarterback.
well, the flag route to Jonnu Smith is the one he had all the time in the world
Well,
to
that
make.
one was the real. If you watch the play develop on the all 22, that Jonnu Smith route, that's the real big boy throw.
Yeah,
And yes,
and
it
that
would have been awesome. You know what I mean?
and that's
But I
the
don't even
throw.
expect Tua to make that one. I do
Well,
expect that 25-yard strike to Smythe for a
I'm
likely
sorry, that's
touchdown.
where you're wrong because I do expect my $50+ million
Okay,
a year
fine.
quarterback to
Okay,
make that
fine.
throw.
Okay, fine. I get that part of it. I'm talking about to win the game. Take what you can, what you know you, bro. I get what you're saying about the Jonnu Smith, the big boy throw. Okay, but people are acting like that Durham Smythe throw is a big boy throw. It's
No,
not.
they're dumb. They're dumb. If
And
anything,
that's a
that Durham
touchdown
Smythe
right
throw,
there.
that Durham Smythe throw is done one of two ways. One, he throws it right away, but takes some heat off of it and lofts it for Durham Smythe to get there in the middle. Or two, he goes through his progression and sees it and not lasers it, but puts a little bit of heat on it because the linebacker came down far enough for him to get it in there.
Right, right. And yes, S. Harris, take what you can. Yeah, take the most of what you can.
No. Listen, take
what
what
I'm
you
saying
can.
is,
No,
what I'm saying
Culler.
is,
Hold on.
if
Take the
hold
most
on,
of what you
taking
can.
what you can. Hold on, taking what you can is if somebody presents me 3 jelly beans and another person presents me 5 jelly beans, I can take either one. I'm going to take the 5 jelly beans. That's taking what you can. 2 extra jelly beans.
No. Well, here. Fuck jelly beans. I hate jelly beans.
So do I. I wouldn't take none of them.
The only thing I hate more than jelly beans is fucking like black licorice. I hate that shit. Gross.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's terrible. It's terrible, right?
The kid next to me when he missed Waddle on a play, it didn't see
Here's
him
the
wide
thing,
open.
though,
The
Culler.
kid next to me, man, why didn't you see Waddle there? It wasn't
Here's the
just
thing.
me.
Oh no, I got you. Taking what you can is fine and fine of an excuse for a first year, second year, maybe even a third year with a new coach quarterback. You start getting in the 4th and 5th years with a new contract, taking what you can ain't good enough no more. You make the money, you got to make the fucking plays. That's simple business, bruh. That's why here's the problem. And Dolphin fans, y'all get what you deserve. You wanted to pay a quarterback because the market is what the market is, and I heard all your BS the whole time. The reality is teams paid quarterbacks. Now, there's plenty of teams that pay quarterbacks because they have to and they don't want to let them go and whatever. But teams used to pay quarterbacks because those guys are making the money and could counterbalance the money they were earning with playmaking ability. I don't give a damn if it's a running quarterback, a quarterback that can't throw the long ball. If whatever that son of a bitch did to earn to get that money, you got to do that. Well, we know it's not Tua's fucking running ability, and it certainly ain't because Tua's got a fucking gun.
Right.
So it means Tua, when you got a clean fucking pocket, you got to make these bitches pay when someone's running free downfield in a progression.
And it's so laughable because S. Harris, man, this is why I'm not expecting the Jonnu Smith route out of Tua. But a 25-yard pass is not a deep throw, bro.
Nah, fuck that.
25 yards is a deep throw?
Only if it's to the side of the field or the sideline. That's another 50 yards, basically.
Of course.
25 yards.
Look. Now he's like, oh, you guys were crying about last year wanting him to hit check downs. No, buddy, you're missing it. You're missing it again. What we would like for him to do is not forcing triple coverage downfield for the sake of wanting a big play to Tyreek Hill and take the guy who sat wide underneath with no one near him for 8 to 12 yards.
Right.
That's
you
a
take
simple
the check down
ask.
when no plays open.
Right.
If there's
everybody's covered downfield, not force it downfield.
We got a
Take the fucking check
logistical
down.
question
Why
why
is that underneath the guy, which, by the way, is still a 30-yard range? Why is that underneath guy so wide open?
Because everybody's upfield in coverage.
Because they're in a 2-high shell. What were they not on that play we just looked at?
They were in single high, strong right, Culler. Single high, strong right. in deep zone or deep man. It looked like the second.
Looked like some kind of robber spy of some kind.
That's what it kind of looked like, right? But again, it's fine. S. Harris will always be a Tua apologist. It's okay, buddy.
Yeah,
I
he
still
will.
like him.
Hang on,
But
Cap. I
I'm
got a
trying
quick
to be-
logistical
No, but
question,
see,
real
here's
quick
the thing,
for
Cap. I'm
for
trying to
Sean.
be fair. The Jonnu
Well,
Smith
S. Harris
route,
will never
the
go with
Jonnu
fair
Smith route,
over
the
Tua, bro.
Jonnu
You know
Smith
this.
route would be a Hall of Fame throw,
Right.
bro.
You give him an inch, you
I'm
take a
trying to
mile.
be fair. You
So
know what I
don't
mean?
do
I'm
that.
not
Culler.
expecting
You
the
can't be
Jonnu
fair
Smith
with
throw
him.
there.
He
No,
loves
right.
Tua, and he really wants Tua to work out, and I respect him for standing
do
as
I.
hard and firm. He's
I'm trying to tell him how Tua can work
S.
out.
Harris is CB83
No, you need to tell him that he's
2.0.
bought into a hook, line, and sinker. Hey, Sean, I got a logistical question. Where's Lot 7? What part of the stadium is it?
Crypto's on his way to the stadium, Sean.
Well, I've only been to like 4 games since I've been an adult because I don't live in Buffalo, so I don't know. But I got a friend that lives next to the park, so I could next to the parking lot, so I could get back to you later on that.
Oh, okay. Lot 7. Yeah, I'm just trying to find
Lot
out
7. Okay.
proximity
Yeah.
of Lot 7.
I'll let you know because I
That's
know
where they store all the Billikens.
Yeah,
7 is
I
a
know
lucky
that-
number.
Yeah.
You know?
I know the one lot
Right.
I used to be in. They closed it because that's where the new stadium's being built. I forgot what that lot was called. And then there's the one next to it where all the RVs are at, and where the people are making pizza in a fucking file cabinet and drinking shots.
Yeah,
out of the
I was told
bowling
about
ball.
the file cabinet thing. Yeah.
You got to go by and see all that and see Pinto Ron where you get the ketchup and mustard all over himself. You got to see that at least one time if in your life. It's pretty
Bro,
funny. But
I've
damn.
made
I'm
a
definitely
file
gonna be
cabinet
there early,
smoker or
man.
two in my day. I've made 1 or 2
Yeah.
file cabinet smokers.
So
Crazy.
you're outside of New York
Okay.
altogether, Sean?
no, I'm 3 hours from Buffalo. I'm in Utica.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
do
he's
you
in
have
Central
a
Park.
do you have a
Central,
symbolic table in your basement
No.
that you
I
you
haven't-
throw like an effigy through it every Sunday?
Is your platform
No.
bed
Oh, man.
just made up of tables?
Well, I can't confirm or deny
with
that.
that paper they use at the doctor's office.
Yeah. No, that's one thing I haven't done yet. I'm reserved. I have bad luck with shit, so I'm like, if I ever do that, I'll probably break my arm or something.
You ever hear
Something's
that?
gonna happen to me.
There was
Yeah,
this
so I'm like,
there
I'm
was
gonna
this
leave that
Italian
for.
there was
Go
this
ahead, sorry.
Italian comedian that was like trying to rip off of Andrew Dice Clay's similar shtick, right? And this guy's like, "Yo, man, you know how your wife's cheating on you? You know how you know?" He's like, because instead of bed sheets on the bed, she's got that paper they use in the doctor's office.
For the record,
Swap it right
there's no
out.
such thing as a running quarterback for those who are interested. That's
said-
been long gone.
The fuck are you talking
He
about?
said, "I went
Nah,
to go
man, I'm
get it."
talking to people in the chat, talking about
He
running
said-
quarterbacks.
He said, me and my
Every quarterback throws more
Yo.
than they run, so by definition, nobody is a running quarterback.
Yo,
There you
Crypto,
have it.
he said, me and my fiance went to go buy wedding rings, and the jeweler asked me he asked me what my birthstone was. I said, I don't know, I'm Italian, I guess cement.
Right.
That's funny.
They're what they call dynamic quarterbacks, who has the ability to run. They're not running quarterbacks.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do this whole Lamar Jackson is a
Oh my god,
not a
dude.
quarterback,
Ah.
Which he's
We're gonna
been
do all
proven
this
time
again.
and time again. How many 5 touchdown games do we need to display?
Crypto,
By
the
way, he's
son of a
second-
bitch has
He's
2
second to Patrick
MVPs.
Mahomes in the most 5 touchdown game quarterback games. Let that sink in. That guy.
The man had 35 yards rushing on us last year and put 54 points up, 56 points, whatever it was. You think? I'm sure
Yeah.
he did that from the pocket.
The most touchdowns in the Monday night primetime game without an interception. By the way, that so happened to be that same quarterback.
Yeah. I'm gonna be.
And
honest.
if you don't think he's a better quarterback, he literally beat us the same way Arizona did. Kyler Murray had 19 yards rushing and over 300 passing. But guess what? Lamar Jackson wipes his ass with Kyler Murray, and in a game like that, put up 50-some points on him. Kyler could only amass 28.
Kyler
Yeah,
could
going
get
to
loose.
28, right?
26.
Kyler
Exactly,
can
Culler.
get loose on you. Lamar can break arm tackles and go and get around you. Like Lamar could also get loose on you, but he can also break arm tackles
Right.
and get away from you.
And buy more
Kyler
time in the
just
pocket
gets
than Kyler.
yeah,
Just a little bit
I-
more time. Yeah.
He runs
Listen,
circles
Kyler's
around
good.
you.
And he's got that thing down where he runs so deep behind the line of scrimmage and then runs up and flings the ball in on a run, and it just sails. Like he ain't got no
Yeah.
business.
Mhm.
From the pocket, he
Right.
ain't throwing that bitch
Right.
that far. But outside the pocket, running full speed down fucking hill and slinging it, he could get
Yep.
some real oomph behind that thing.
Yeah. Plus, he's actually
nailed
a
that
really
shit
strong
down.
guy for his size.
He
Like
actually got a
is
strong
ripped,
arm for his
dude.
height.
Homie's
It's-
yoked, son.
Yeah.
Homie's
for his
yoked.
actual
And
height.
real
Yeah, when
quick,
you think
'cause
about it.
something I do agree with S. Harris on,
I
and
call him
did
Mighty
before.
Mouse.
He says, I like Kyler's game. I think he'd be better on a better team. Now, S. Harris, a couple years ago on my channel, I did a show about comparing Kyler and Tua because the talk was, is that a
Who
sideways
would be
move
better on a
for
better
us?
team?
And at the time, and I've been on record, I am off of Kyler Murray. I'm not
Kyler
convinced
would be
by him.
good in New Orleans.
But lately, the man's starting to change my mind.
Or
And I
Tampa.
do believe he'd be better on a better team.
Yeah. Well, the thing about people
He
like
would. If
Lamar
he was in
and
San
Allen
Francisco,
and Kyler Murray,
his skill set would make that team work. Will make San Francisco a whole nother
Well, he's
level.
finally gotten his head out of his ass and starting to play football
Him
again.
with
And
Debo Samuel
the
and
guy's
those
good, you know?
that crew.
Again,
Imagine
I
that
don't want.
style with the
I don't-
Miners.
I will not stand for it's just like shitting on Rodgers. Rodgers has got 3 MVPs, excuse
4.
me. He has 4?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
3
So
or 4. Yeah, that's a lot.
4 MVPs. There's only been 6 people to do it to get 3 all of all time. So Rodgers he ain't what he used to be, but the son of a bitch is great, and that's why he won MVP multiple
Was he
times.
not the most valuable player last night?
Again,
Well, last night he
that's
was. Yeah, he was.
You could say what you'd
in
like.
that particular game. He
But when I
probably
look
was.
at Lamar Jackson, there was no doubt that he
No, I
deserved
just meant
both of those. Well, I just want to
that
keep it on
game
Lamar
that
real
week.
quick. I got you, Culler. I hear what I agree.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Lamar to me, he keeps playing this way. He gonna win it again. Like
if he stays at this pace, yeah.
He stays at this pace right now. He'll
Well,
win
that's
it again.
precisely what I was just going to say
He'll
about
win it
Aaron
again,
Rodgers.
yeah.
If he's
Yes,
back
I
on
can-
track, that team is garbage without him being back on track. So that's a
Yeah.
MVP stake
Well, we'll
right
see.
there. If
We'll
they
see
keep,
we'll
if
see.
they
That's
keep
true too,
winning,
Culler,
you know what
yeah.
I mean?
If they keep winning, yeah.
Listen, he does anything with the
Yeah.
Jets at current state. He argued
probably will win.
made right. But I just want to say, when people shit on Lamar, dude, shut up, bro. You sound so stupid. Like I can't even. I
it's
don't
real
even
petty
respect.
now. Just
I don't
kidding.
know how. I don't know how you could look at Lamar Jackson and not think any quarterback out minus Dan Marino we've possessed at any given moment, you wouldn't take him over them. It's
By
just
waiting,
stupid
he's on
to
pace
say.
for his
Yeah,
first 4,000
exactly.
yard
It's
season.
getting old.
I don't want to hear what you know about football if that's
He'll
what you
finally
believe.
get
You're a
4,000
fucking idiot.
yards.
That's the end
Yeah.
of it.
Well,
That's
it's-
it. You're a fucking
well, what
dummy
it
if
is
that's what
is
you believe.
It's starting to be exposed as malicious, is what's happening.
It's obvious. There's obviously something else there, right? There's
Exactly.
obviously something
Well,
else there.
that's part of it, but
That's
at the
true.
same time, they do it about every quarterback. You find people
don't
saying
do it
Patrick
about
Mahomes
yours.
is not
ones.
good.
That's precisely
people
what we're
say-
saying. They don't do it about
Right.
yours. I mean,
Oh,
you
oh,
guys.
they
But Josh
do it
Allen, they
internally.
give him a lot of
Wait a
credit
minute.
for a
You
lot of
guys
stuff they
might
not
do
giving
that
him.
internally, but ain't nobody
No,
putting
I'm-
this heat on Josh Allen.
I'm just saying, like, people in general, like, if there's a post about Patrick Mahomes or a post about Josh Allen or any quarterback, you'll find people in the comments saying, "Why are we talking about this guy? He's overrated. He's not that good." So, like, I do think certain people have.
They
have
say that about
malicious-
Josh Allen?
Well, yeah, you see it some places. I mean, in the media, they
I
might
mean,
not
I'm sure
say.
I'm sure
not
there
that
are
good, but-
some.
I mean,
I'm sure
Josh
there's
Allen got-
some. There's no
Josh Allen got-
0% anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Well,
but
yeah.
Josh Allen, I mean, he got voted the most overrated player in the league, which is based on it.
Oh, yeah, that's some shade you
There's
can
no
say.
way.
Yeah, in that
Here's-
sense,
there's no-
yes.
there-
But
Yeah, in that
there's
sense,
no
there
way.
is some shade
But
there.
John, here's the overall
If
arching
he's
point.
overrated.
Here's the overall arching point. We
I don't
have a
think it's
Buffalo
overrated.
Bills fan on our show right now. We're talking about how we're going to play the Bills this week. Okay. Not one person in chat brought up running about Josh Allen when you started to speak about your quarterback. Not one person said, oh, he's just a runner. We don't have to worry about his arm.
Well,
Oh,
in the past,
he,
in the
oh,
Yeah, they
past, I
never
have
oh,
say
heard
that.
that
Yeah.
though.
but nobody in our chat said, oh, he better watch out because running quarterbacks can only run for so long. No,
Well,
but
I
the
mean,
Josh
moment
Allen's
we
been in the
brought
league
up,
for
yeah.
8
the
years.
moment we brought up Lamar
That's
Jackson,
been debunked.
the moment we brought up Lamar Jackson, the running quarterback trope started coming out.
Yeah, I don't know why they do. I
Right.
don't know why they do that.
But see,
That's
Josh
one of,
Allen is debunking that because he's been in the league for almost 8 years now.
Right, but
Yeah,
I'm
He
yeah,
just
never
saying,
suffered a
Crypto,
major
I'm just
injury
saying.
due to his
Yeah.
running.
But so
Yeah.
how long has Lamar been in the league?
The same amount of time.
Right.
Well, yeah. Well, the Lamar,
Not a
the
major
Lamar,
season-ending, not like career-ending injuries, like they
Well,
saying
one of them
in
we
the,
Josh
might,
Allen's going to have a
one of them we
career-ending.
might, one of them we might
None
presume
of
was
it.
by choice because he's looking for a new contract. So,
yeah,
Right on
you
that
know,
sit
well,
down for the end of the last 6 games, yeah. And the last
yeah.
injury was more like a technical injury. It wasn't a real injury.
The
It was a
people that
contract
say like,
thing.
oh, Lamar's a runner and Allen's not, that those people they have a
I think
different
they run the
agenda.
same
But
amount of percentage.
at
well,
the
it's
same
not
time,
so much that
They're
it's not
80 some
that they
percent
one
of the
is not
team's
and one
offense.
is the other. It's that the moment we spoke Lamar's name, the tropes came out
yeah,
about
yeah,
running quarterback.
I don't agree with
Not
that.
one person
Yeah.
brought up running quarterbacks and their deficiencies earlier when we're talking about the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen.
Yeah. What I was gonna say about like guys like Allen, Lamar, and Kyler Murray, they don't look to be runners. They use their running ability when they have to because nobody can do it like they can. Like,
Right.
yeah,
Not only that, but I would argue Josh Allen is more of a risk because he takes on linebackers.
yeah, that's
The
the thing.
reason reason Lamar should be able to do that for a while is because nobody touches him.
Exactly. Yeah, I have a friend who's a diehard Ravens fan, and I always tell him, I was like, bro, can you imagine if you mixed Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson together? Allen's because Allen's got the touchdown rushing, Lamar's got the yardage. He's got like 5,000 rushing yards. Allen's only got like 3,000. But if you mix Allen's power running with Lamar's finesse and speed and a stop on a dime running with both their arms together, I said, man, there's no way you could stop that if that was a quarterback.
Yeah, that would be the
That'd be,
prototypical quarterback.
Yeah,
That
I
would
mean,
be what
that'd
you
be
call a
unbelievable.
robo quarterback.
sure.
That's
sure.
what you define as a robo quarterback.
But see,
That's
Yeah.
to me,
Yeah, I think
Lamar's
it's
actually
dynamic.
stronger than people give him credit for. He can
he's
actually
got a great
take on
arm.
those linebackers. He just doesn't have to.
Yeah, he's better.
His
He
instinct
knows.
His instinct is to break their ankles, not take them on. He can
Right.
take them on though.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's
He's country
and
strong, bro. He's like just like
Yeah.
Josh Allen. He's country strong, man.
Yeah, they're my two favorite players. Like to watch it. If I'm watching football, I want to watch those guys because, like you guys already said, Lamar can throw 5 touchdowns on you, or he can run for 200 yards on you if
Right.
he wanted to. It's not
And
because
and
that's all
and I'm
he
not
is, but because he can
and
do
I'm not
both.
trying to throw shade on Allen, but I am.
No,
He don't need
That's
nothing
fine.
from Josh Allen. All he needs is Dan Marino's arm and passing instinct.
well, I won't argue. I won't argue with you. But yeah,
You don't need nothing from Josh.
yeah, and I said it before too, and people might misunderstand what I'm saying here. But when people look at quarterbacks, who they want, they don't look for guys like Patrick Mahomes. They look for guys like Allen and Lamar because they want that dynamic ability.
Although
Like,
you could argue Patrick Mahomes is the guy between the two.
yeah, he's
You
a
know,
little
he's
bit
cracking
dynamic,
his helmet too, like literally
Yeah.
cracking his helmet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's obviously the best quarterback. Don't get
But
me wrong.
his
But as
arm's
far
not
as like
quite as strong
playmaker,
as theirs, but it's strong enough. You know,
yeah,
strong
exactly.
enough
Yeah,
for his purposes.
right. They're the prototype. They're the prototype you want because
He also Mahomes also
he
doesn't
ain't doing
lack
nothing for you.
Mahomes also doesn't lack velocity, even though he might not have the deepest ball.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's partly because of knowing how to throw a ball, like the guy with his baseball background and all that. You just get to the point where you can make a ball do things that you wouldn't expect you be able to do based on your arm strength.
Absolutely. Yeah. The kind of plays like
I can
especially-
only throw 45 yards, but I can throw 20 on a rope just like anybody.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because
Throwing on
the
run
way
is
I'm
talent,
throwing
too.
a 20-yard pass is completely different than the way I'm throwing a 45-yard pass. And at certain range, you don't have to be super strong to do it. You know,
Right.
beyond that range, you do. Now, a guy like Josh, now a guy like me, I'm catapulting a 40-yard, 45-yard pass. That's my limit. A guy like Josh Allen is throwing a 45-yard pass like I throw a 20-yard pass.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like on a
it's
road.
crazy. Yeah.
That's velocity. Both of us can get it 45 yards. Now, Tua, you'd put him somewhere in between.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
you'd say, okay, he can throw far further than me on a rope. And if he catapults it, he can throw 65 yards.
Absolutely. Yeah,
But
the
he
best
can't
thing about
arm it. But he can't arm it to 65 yards. We saw that last week.
Yeah, it's, some people got it, some people don't.
Just like I can't arm it to 45. I have to catapult it. You know what I mean?
I could never throw a football. That was what, like, I was athletic, I was a pitcher, but when it came to throwing actual football, I don't even know if I could throw a football 30 yards, bro. That was the thing I was worst at in any.
I actually
any
did
sport,
play a little
was throwing
quarterback, but not
football.
high school.
Yeah, I was
Back in stretch.
I was a
Back
The key,
back
I was
then.
a running back, lineman.
the key, if you've got a weak arm, if you're not like an NFL quarterback, well, even if you are an NFL quarterback, the key is angular momentum. However, you got to produce it through rotation of your hips, turning over of your arm, all
Yeah,
of it.
strong arm.
You know what I mean? Like it all
No
is
wasted
angular
motion.
momentum. So you don't have to be super strong. You just have to understand angular momentum.
Yeah, I always thought about, yeah, quarterback would be cool, but I was like, yeah, I'd rather play D line or running back or linebacker or something. And good thing I didn't, because I had no quarterback skill. But
No, Mudbone. We're not saying Dan Marino's a running quarterback. I was saying Lamar don't need his arm from Josh Allen. If he took his arm from Dan Marino, he's complete. He don't need nothing from Josh Allen. That's all I was saying. I'm not saying Dan Marino's a running quarterback.
I think,
I don't
sooner
know
or
who
later
did.
there's going to
Maybe
be
it was somebody else.
there's going to be all dynamic mobile quarterbacks until like guys like Lamar and Allen will get to 40
Here's
years
a
old.
better one. Put Barry Sanders' legs on Dan Marino, and you got Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. Well, hey guys, I just got to a baby shower I got to go to.
Hey,
so
appreciate you coming by, Sean. Everybody get over to Red, White, and Bills. Even if you're a Dolphin fan, go throw him some love. Give him a subscribe. He's trying to grow. Make him feel like doing more shows. Make him feel wanted. Man. Get over there and do it.
I appreciate you guys. It was good to see Lou
All
and
right,
everyone
Sean.
out there.
And you know you're always
crypto color.
I appreciate it.
El Capitan. I'll see
But
you guys
yeah,
later. We'll talk soon.
If you got some info
I'll hit you up
on the thing, that's fine.
Yeah, I'll hit you up later, Crypto. I'll ask about Lot 7.
Okay.
All right, man.
All
right, man.
Yep.
Clutch that Billiken. You're gonna need it. So we're at an hour and 30 minutes. Everybody hit the like button. I appreciate you chilling with me still. And I think we probably should, see what our defensive coordinator has to say. Man, I don't know what to tell you about. It's hard. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do Mike McDaniel today, guys. It is so boring. I can't even begin to describe to you how boring it is. But I would like to see what our defensive coordinator has to say. I got you, Mudbone. That's kind of what I thought. Well, whoever said that is not listening clearly. But anyway, but let's finish out real quick what Ramsey had to say. I opened the show with it. Maybe I'll just go ahead and play the whole thing over again for those that didn't listen to the beginning of the show. This is Ramsey speaking on going forward, where we're at.
What gives you hope that things could be turned around?
I like it. Thank you for correcting that. I mean, you just look around the locker room. You see the guys we have, and then when you actually watch the film and watch what we've done, and there is some good to take from some things that we've done, and then also there is plenty of lessons that we had to learn throughout these games that we've lost and won, honestly. But Man, we grind during the week. We really prepare. We try to self-correct a lot of things. We put that pressure on each other. We hold each other to a high standard, and we just got to keep going. I think, like, we still in the race. It ain't like we it ain't like we can't correct what's going on. So we gonna. I mean, I hope everybody else thinks the same way as me, but I keep hoping till I can't keep hope no more until like the reality is that I can't have hope anymore. So that's just how I'm wired, and I feel like we got a good group of guys who are wired like
Yeah, I'm wired the same way, Jalen. I feel the same way.
that as well in here. So that's it. We just got to keep going, keep pushing.
I'm sure Anthony Weaver would.
I will say that little smirk when he's like, I hope everybody else feels the same way I do. You know what I mean? Like, that's the part that's like, man,
Well,
he must not have got the memo, Crypto.
you
know what I mean?
need 53 people to have that.
Exactly. And
But
his smirk
four,
was almost like he knew a memo was going around that he hadn't gotten yet. You know what I mean?
well, if you don't, he's gotten paid. So
right.
So that could be the smirk of his money.
Like to clone you to be
Check
able to
not
use you as a rusher and in coverage in the same play. But have you enjoyed the rushing chance you've had? There been about 10 over the last week. Is that something that you enjoyed?
Yeah, it's been cool. I gotta capitalize on my rushes a little bit. Been a little sloppy in my rushes and my technique of things, but I'm gonna get that right. That ain't no issue. But yeah, I like being able to do whatever the defense calls for me to do. It's fun.
How much different do they look on film from week 2 now they've got Amari Cooper out there?
Yeah, he brings another dynamic, obviously. Good receiver, been in the league for a while. Been successful in the league for a while. They've all kind of gotten better. Keon's gotten better since the first meeting we had. They still in their groove. They're a good team. Obviously, we know that. They play tough. All the stuff y'all already know.
Yeah, I mean, what can you do but try to perform? I mean, that's all you can do.
Yeah.
That's sensible
Different
talk
makeup
from
from
Jalen Ramsey.
week 2. We don't have to wait to the end of the season to play against.
Look, I know he's got
Amari.
issues to fix too, but I feel like that's the frame of mind players need to be in. Like, it's this is our job and we're gonna get it right. If we don't, we don't. But this is what we're working towards. It seems like it's nothing to him. Like, yeah, we got stuff to fix. What you think we're just gonna sit around here and not do nothing about it? You know what I mean? All we can do is play. Yeah, they got good guys, and we know that. And yeah,
What defenses are you talking about on DBs, S. Harris, about angles of blitzes? Who's got better angles that's not playing? What are you talking about, S. Harris? No cornerback blitz.
Well, maybe we can get
cornerback
some
blitzes,
insight
you
out
can't
of
do that.
well, Crypto, maybe S. Harris might gain some insight. I don't know what Weaver's going to say here. I haven't watched it yet.
If
So
he cornerback blitz, we'll be down 30-0 before
right,
you know
we're
it.
all gonna watch together what our defensive coordinator has to say, and maybe he'll answer some of those questions. Let's see.
Obviously, that doesn't have its 2 starting edge rushers of quality. The Shelby Phillips are going to probably struggle against pass rush. How much of a dilemma has it been for you in terms of needing to rush defensive backs last couple of games more than you want to? Because
there
you
you
don't
go.
have a sack from an edge player these last 2 games. Oh, and in fact, don't have only 3 all season from edge players.
I don't know if it's a dilemma. It's situationally where we're at. I have faith still in our guys that are on the roster. They're just, you have some younger players with Chop Robinson and Mo Kamara who are trying to get on the field, Q Bell, and then some veterans who, again, in Emmanuel Ogba is giving us everything he has, right? He's kind of dealing with, like tore something in his bicep, right? So kind of fighting through that a little bit. And Tyus Bowser, who was out there working his butt off, trying to make sure he's good to go out there. So I never attack any game plan the same. It's really based on opponent. So a couple weeks ago when we were, sending people to Anthony Richardson, that was with intent. That was because he was a young quarterback. We were giving him some looks he hadn't seen, and we knew he had to get there. Last week, some of the plans changed, particularly in the latter part of the week when we lost Zach Sealer, right? So that forced some game plan changes that were unforeseen at the start of the week. So
Yeah, and that was on the fly. For those that want to really hammer the defense hard for last week, that was middle of the week he had to deal with that. And we still held them to less points than their defense held us. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, seems to me that the coaching is still on point. Yeah, the players need to execute. Even the guys that step up, next man up. I get that. So we can pin that on them. But let's not act like, oh my God, see, we're not as good as we thought we were. We were missing our best D tackle. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to try to overcome, and we tried. And I don't think we did horribly.
A tremendous amount of faith in those guys. I don't think our lack of edge sack reduction, like I said, is a reflection on them. I'm just calling the game based on the opponent and how our personnel matches up.
I say Josh Allen, you say.
Oh man, where to start? You say this about so many of these guys in today's game, where they can beat you both from in the pocket and with their feet. And he's a guy that he doesn't have a lot of weaknesses in his game. So just a tremendous amount of respect for him. They've had the success they've had there in recent years for a reason, and he's a big part of that.
Anthony, late in the game against the Cardinals, we saw
somebody actually acknowledging that in the Dolphins uniform.
What's that, Crypto?
No, I'm saying actually somebody stands at a podium and actually acknowledges that there's a universe outside of Miami. Wow. What a breath of fresh air.
Exactly.
A lot. And why not Jalen Ramsey?
Yeah, it's not as easy to move in and out of personnel groups, right? Particularly in that situation. So at that particular time, in order to get our best 11 on the field, who we thought Cam was one of those guys, to have him learn multiple spots in the limited amount of time he's been out there, I think would be a disservice to him. So in order to put the best 11 on the field, we thought at that particular moment, that was it. We could say, hey, Cam, slide inside when we're playing man, but then some of the zone jobs, that makes it very difficult for him and for them. Just from traveling and finding people and things of that nature, you're opening up an entire new can of worms. So from a matchup standpoint, yeah, do you want to see your best on their best? Sure. But we had the tremendous amount of confidence in Cam at that particular point that he could get the job done.
Notice what he didn't say there, Crypto?
What was that?
He didn't say, and if you think you could do a better job while you're sitting there on the couch eating your chips, by all means, come try. He didn't say that.
Right, he didn't say that at all. I know.
Here has 36 receptions, 38 targets.
Man.
What does that tell you about how they use them and where they hit them and things like? What does that stat tell you?
Yeah, that means when he throws the ball to him, you better have somebody on him. But that kid, he's a tremendous player, right? He has elite change of direction and quickness. So it's funny because the thing about losing when they lost Stephon Diggs, the one thing you notice about Josh is he'll throw it to everybody, and he has confidence in everybody and getting them the ball. So, and the other thing that they're very specific in the routes they run and how they target each guy. So that kid right there, just in the slot, he's a difficult matchup, right? Just because you don't have the sideline as your extra defender, so you got to make sure you usually have multiple people accounted for him.
The addition of Amari Cooper seemingly opened up Keon Coleman.
Yeah.
What have you seen from him over the last few weeks?
His growth from when we played them in week 2 has been, it's been tremendous. You can see his confidence has grown, both in his ability and the quarterback's confidence in him has grown too. Like those 50-50 balls have now turned more into like 60-40 balls, which for a rookie, that's awesome. You talk about a security blanket for a quarterback. Anytime you can just.
Damn, Crypto, he must listen to your show, man.
Yeah.
Throw a ball.
Yeah, he did.
Think he has a chance. That's huge.
Yep. I think that was directly. It was 60-40. That was a message right to you, Crypto, saying you do a good job, bro. I know how you talk, man. I know how you think. Oh, by the way,
Yeah,
I
he's
forgot.
been
I
listening
forgot
to
to
my
mention.
press conferences.
I forgot to mention. Everybody hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and everybody welcome Mr. Ryan Fitzpatrick to the audience. I am 100% sure he's listening, allegedly, because yesterday. You remember what my show was titled yesterday? Crypto, Fish and Chips, or Chippy Fish. Remember that?
Yeah, the title. Yeah.
Well, last night on Thursday Night Football, they asked Fitzpatrick what his opinion on what Tua said, and he referred to Tua as being chippy. So welcome, Mr. Fitzpatrick. I appreciate you listening to the show. We all love you, man. You were a great fixture for us down here in Miami. We'll always remember Fitz Magic. So I appreciate you listening to the show, man. And yeah, just throw me a bone whenever you feel like it. Let people know, yo, Finn's Tailgate. We know what we're talking about around here. It don't have to be a big bone. I'll know it when I see it. You can send me a little subtle message from the TV, to let me know I'm right. But welcome. Thank you for listening.
So I think we have the corners and the DBs that can match up with him, both from a size and athletic standpoint. So we just have to show up and get it done.
I know you had expected last week when we spoke about Kamara potentially playing more.
Yeah.
What led to Quentin Bell being active over Mo? And do you still feel like Mo has to play more?
Yeah, I think we all want to see Mo on the field. Ultimately, who's responsible for that is Mo, right? There's a bunch of other decisions that factor into that, special teams, position like injuries at certain positions, both offensively and defensively. And because of that, a lot of times he's left as kind of the odd man out. So I've challenged him, like where he can add value. So we no longer have to have that discussion about him.
Boom.
The Cardinals' last 3 drives. I'm sorry to bring up the last game. I know it was a while ago, but
Notice how he just answers. He don't give everything away, but he answers, bro. He's like, "Yo, this is what it is. Move on." I'm not gonna it's like when you have to figure out a defense, and it's like you call up all the people in your life that have directed you to this path, and none of that. You know what I mean? None of that.
Well, we're looking at a Todd Bowles in the making 2.0, because the reason why I say that, he will become our interim head coach if we were to get blown away in this week.
I think so.
By Monday, he will be the interim head coach.
Well, I'm not sure McDaniel's not safe anymore, but I will say that if McDaniel were to be fired, absolutely correct, and should be hired going forward.
That's why I said it's Todd Bowles 2.0. Basically, he's getting practice,
Right.
so
He
that's why
basically
he's getting a
answered
lot
the
of
question.
exposure.
Yo, I've been coaching him up. What else do you want me to say? These are the techniques I'm using to coach him up, and we'll see what the results are like. You know what I mean?
Yep, this is what we're seeing, fella. The development of Todd Bowles 2.0.
Right.
He will be the interim head coach by Thanksgiving. There you go. You heard it here first.
the Cardinals' last 3 drives were long scoring drives, 75, 70, 73. Is the lack of depth contributing to any fatigue? Is there anything that's showing up as a
what a dumb question. Is the lack of depth contributing to fatigue? So he acknowledges, the beat reporter acknowledges that it's because of fatigue, Crypto, but doesn't want to acknowledge that they're tired because the offense has been going 3 and out over and over again. That's where the fatigue's coming from, Mr. Reporter, not no depth problem.
common denominator for late game?
The common denominator. No, the common denominator is your offense can't pick up more than 1 first down.
Long drives by the opponent.
Yeah, that's a good question, and I don't want to say it's fatigue or lack of depth.
No, Coach, tell him it is fatigue. Where the fatigue is coming from is what you need to correct the record on.
I think from that standpoint, because I think in each of those drives, we've had opportunities to get off the field. Right now, we're not cashing in on those opportunities. So
That's not what the statistics show. It might have showed that on those 3 drives, coach, but that's not what the statistics show. We're number 1 in third down, getting off the field on third down.
That's been a point of focus this week. Just ultimately,
although I do appreciate him trying to take some onus on himself like a professional he is. Thank you, coach.
if there is fatigue at any point in the game, what you have to rely on at that particular point is your technique and fundamentals. And that's
so you have to rely on your offense.
Where our lapses have occurred. It's been as simple as taking a proper angle on a tackle, right? Or miscommunication because you have had some different bodies kind of rotating in the back end. And that's been where we've suffered. So in those moments, particularly late in game when it's critically important, we have to be on our P's and Q's in terms of technique, fundamentals, and communication.
Well, I appreciate that. Obviously, he's the defensive coordinator. Well, Joe, you got to realize we have to pause and speak on it because that's how we are able to invoke the Fair Use Act. You can't just let it play for any length of time you want because they will not see that. YouTube will see that as not or new. It's not changing the content enough for it to be considered original. So that's why we do that. And also, I'm here to comment on what he's saying. I don't want to forget what he's saying in my comments on it. But I mean, the guy is our defensive coordinator. So I know I'm hammering him about not wanting to really tell us what the problem is. Okay. He's the defensive coordinator. His job is to answer questions from a defensive coordinator's perspective and what he can do to make his squad better. Because the fact of it is, if the offense ain't going to get better, then he still has to get his squad better. And I've never disagreed with that. I've always agreed with that. Again, I just wish people would understand that our problems on defense in relation to why we lose games is a footnote in the story. It's a footnote. Now, this is our defensive coordinator. He's not an offensive coach. If you're going to ask him about why the defense gave up scores and drives at the end, he's going to tell you from a defensive perspective. But don't mistake for a second that he don't know in his head that his offense, our offense needs to help them more. Don't think for that for a second.
The play that Josh can make with his legs. Obviously, some difficulties last week corralling Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Different type of mobile quarterback, obviously a lot bigger.
That's what we rely on the head coach for. The head coach needs to be saying what I'm saying.
What are some of the key teaching points you have to focus on?
Different, but still the same in terms of like how you have to attack him. You have to make sure you attack the high shoulder, right? Now he doesn't really care where he escapes to. Where as Kyler, we had an idea, and we allowed him to get out of the back of the pocket, which we didn't want to happen. The one thing about Josh is he gives you a chance to get the ball, right? Because he is so strong. He reminds me a little bit like Steve McNair, Ben Roethlisberger back there, where when you get there, you have to make sure you not only try to tackle him, but you almost have equally as good a chance of tackling the ball because he just kind of hangs it out there like a loaf of bread. So I think the biggest thing is to throttle down. Let's make sure we secure and try to get the sack and then try to attack the ball in doing so.
The rookie receivers have kind of given you guys trouble. Marvin Harrison Jr., Brian Thomas Jr. What does that say kind of about the rookie receiving class this
year? Yeah, they're an incredibly talented class, right? And I think everybody knew that coming into the season. There was high expectations and hopes for them.
Well, apparently we didn't because we didn't draft
them that they've just continued to develop throughout this NFL season.
What does Deion Dawkins do for their offense?
I mean, shoot, he's kind of their dude up front, right? And he can do everything. It's funny because from a technique standpoint, he can be a little bit unorthodox, but he always gets the job done. So I have a tremendous amount of respect for their offensive line. I hate to say this, I don't know who their O-line coach is, but hats off to him. I think he does a tremendous job.
There's a spot you think.
Did you hear that, Crypto? He's like, I can't say I know who their offensive line coach is, but hats off to him. I love it.
work on
Get him,
Allen. It's a
coach.
two-part question. A couple of years ago, when Josh Boyer was here, Channing Tindall during his rookie season was tried as a spy on Fields. Obviously Channing hasn't played a snap. Has he shown you guys anything where potentially he could have a role like that? And does a spy work on Josh Allen, do you think?
Yeah. Spies to me, like, they're kind of hit or miss, right? There's a lot of times where that guy, he's sitting there and then the quarterback scrambles off and he still doesn't get him. So it's like, oh, well, now we just wasted a guy. Now we're playing with 10. So ultimately, I try
that happened quite a bit
funnel
last week.
Quarterbacks where we want to go more through games than through actual spies. Just because I hate wasting the extra defender, but there are times when it's absolutely necessary. In terms of Channing, I love Channing Tindall. I love it. I love his approach to work, his attitude. Even though he hasn't seen the field, he is the same guy every day and just comes out here and trying to get better. I know his number hasn't been called yet, but if and when that time comes, I have a tremendous amount of confidence in him to go out there and get the job done.
If Zeeler is able to go, he's permitted to wear a face shield. Is that correct?
I believe so.
Yeah. I didn't think there was a rule. I know there was a rule about tinting, but I think you're allowed to wear. You don't see a lot of it, right?
Yeah, not anymore. Particularly from big guys, you don't see a whole lot of it now.
Can you tell us what part of the eye orbit it is with him? Because it goes like all around your eye, right? The upper side.
I am not a doctor, nor did I stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. So
yeah,
he's definitely listening to my thing. The
Man,
Holiday Inn one comes out.
I want this guy as our coach so bad. This dude's great, man. Oh God. It's like really, literally, if you had Crypto as our head coach, this would be him right here. Right? No, but I did, and I can tell you, I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night either. God, that was great.
Yeah. I cannot get that done.
I mean, Mike left the door open to Zach playing. Are you hopeful he will?
Yeah, I am a much better coach when he's on the field. So I am certainly hopeful. Ultimately, there's been a lot of prayers sent out there from the Weaver family. So we'll see what happens on Sunday.
How's David Long doing physically? I know he's had the hamstring and the knee, right?
Yeah, there ain't no way Steeler ain't playing.
Some kind of, nicks and bumps all season. So I know he's in good spirits.
He wants some buffalo meat.
But he's certainly, from a health standpoint, he's been battling. He's been an ultimate warrior for sure.
In the last Bills game, you guys held them 3 for 9 on third downs. They had only one very long scoring drive. There were a couple of.
Wait a minute. What did he just say, Crypto? Oh, he said something I said. Oh, our defense has only been getting off on third downs against the bad teams. What did he just say? 3 for 9 on third down they were against us last game. Now, granted,
well,
they had
that's all
3 short
relative
fields.
too,
I know they didn't have to get many first downs. I get you. I hear that.
Yeah.
That is a good counter argument. I'm just pointing out that we can get off the field on them occasionally. We need to make them pay for that.
Of short field plays. What did you like from that game that you would actually like to see repeatable?
Yeah, outside of the long run, right, where they broke the 41-yarder, I thought for the most part our run defense was pretty solid.
Yeah.
And you'd like to continue to have the success we've had on third down. Now, the one thing I don't think he did as much because he was kind of nursing a hand was run the ball. And that obviously helps their third down stats. So we got to be cognizant of that in terms of how we're calling the game. So if we can have that same success, both eliminate the explosive.
Look, I mean, if you can put Culler in his place, I think you're ready to be our coach. I really do. Like, he just totally cooked me right there.
Run and have the success we've had in the other part of the run game and have the same success on third down. I think that would bode well for us.
What I like about being cooked right there is the fact that he's recognizing that we are not great on defense. That we have to recognize Josh Allen didn't run all over us because he was nursing a hand injury. That I'm not taking that into consideration. He is. He's our coach. So I stand cooked.
Defending James Cook from that.
Yeah, he's
I'd rather my defensive
all the
coordinator,
factors of all the stuff.
well, I'd rather my defensive coordinator be cooking me than some yahoo on the internet. You know what I mean? Like, where you're like, that yahoo on the internet, it would do a better job than our coach. At least I can say, that about him. I can't say so much about Mike McDaniel yet. You know what I mean? But this guy recognizes the problems we have on defense, and that's the first part of fixing your problems, is identifying them.
Exists. Yeah,
Oh,
given the
man. Try not to
nuances
give him open
of
space so
the-
he can run for 41 yards.
Yep.
No, I have a tremendous amount of respect for him and just the way that he runs. I think they actually have a tandem of really good backs back there. And when you pair that with the physicality that their offensive line tries to play with, that's why they have the success they have. So I like that kid, man, and hope he doesn't have a lot of success on Sunday.
So,
I ain't even doing it. Sorry, I am not doing that. Sorry. So hit the like button, everybody. We're right at the 2-hour mark, and I think I'm going to go ahead and call it a show because I want to go out on a high note, and I really like the attitude of Anthony Weaver. Y'all know I'm quickly become a big fan of his. But so there you go. That's what we got to do. I don't know how we're going to do it. I don't even know if it matters anymore.
Might have to listen to the big O, sadly, to figure out how fast they're going to get Mike McDaniel out the door and when the campaign officially starts.
And
It's already
I'm
started.
telling you, that's going to be a real shame because, how
many hit pieces are lined up for McDaniel? And how many lawyers have McDaniel is about to hire so he can
Crypto,
start
I can
lawsuits against the Dolphins?
Look,
So
Crypto,
that's
I
what
can
I'm looking
accept
forward to.
because of the mistakes. I can accept that the guy gets fired, but I don't want people to confuse that acceptance of I'm happy with it. I don't think it's the right move to make if that's what happens, bro. I really don't.
Well, it has to be a campaign to disparage his character, to demonize him.
But if that's what they decide to do, if that's what they decide to do, I think we've already got the guy that we should hire next in-house. I don't think we should go on a huge coaching search. I don't think there should be any question as to
they
the
actually do.
coach we want leading our football team if we fire Mike McDaniel. That guy we just watched is the guy. I'm sorry to tell you, that's the guy.
Yeah, he might. Right. But the thing is, the bad news is he might appear to be the guy. Doesn't mean that they're not going to rinse and repeat the same propaganda campaign against him.
I'm talking about if they're insistent.
So we need to go coachless. We need.
There you go.
We need to do what Green Bay does with ownership. What the fans need to collectively own the team.
If they're insistent upon getting rid of Mike McDaniel, I don't want a nonsense search to get the same guy that's already in the building. Might as well just hire Anthony.
No, I'm just saying I'm advocating don't hire nobody. This team don't need to be coached by no one. It needs to be collectively owned by the freaking fans.
I did say that before we hired Fangio about our defense. Like, let's just go.
We don't need no coaches.
DC-less.
They're gonna just keep rinsing and repeating with the coaches.
I bet
you
if
to be like Green Bay is collectively owned by the town of Green Bay.
I bet you
Miami coaching needs to be collectively owned by the fans.
I bet you we'd have had better results last year on defense if we would have just went DC-less.
No, we probably would have had worse.
Nah, Xavier Howard would have taken over those duties, and we would have had a way better defense.
No, he's washed up. He had no shot. Fangio played him correctly. He bailed him out. We held on to him too long. We would have had worse results.
I know. I know. You see what I did there?
No.
I made everybody realize that blaming Fangio for everything was dumb.
Well,
the players got to play.
Was.
Right, the players got to play. They got to play for Weaver just like they did last year for Fangio.
Well, yeah, they got to play for him.
Yeah.
Everybody should have a game show thing where everybody gets to choose a selection of plays. Majority rule on the play that gets called, and it gets buzzed down to the players to his helmet. or the linebacker's helmet, then that's what we go with. You have
mean,
a
if
poll
everybody's talking about
every 30 seconds on which
if
way to
everybody's
run.
talking about getting all the losers out of the building, then we're going to end up firing everybody and bringing in a whole, including the janitor. I mean, what? That's a whole different thing. You can't just get rid of one loser. You can't just not hire one loser. You know what I mean? It's not like it's not like, oh, well, if we fire McDaniel and we hire Weaver, oh yeah, hire another loser. Well, if we're not getting rid of them all, Weaver's still going to be in the building.
Yeah,
You
he's
know?
like the special teams guy, right?
Right,
Crossman,
right.
he's still in the building from Gase.
So when you talk about not hiring losers, I respect that
I guess
opinion.
he's next in line.
But that opinion comes with just blowing the whole thing up.
But that's Danny Crossman will get his shot then.
And there's nothing wrong with that either. But it's Friday, and
Crossman.
I mean, that's
I'm
boring.
gonna get a Danny Crossman jersey.
Bro, I was gonna when Lou asked that question earlier about coaches and jerseys, I was already pulling up Fanatics to see if I could make a Mike McDaniel jersey.
Oh yeah.
I'll be the
what was his number
with
at
the
Yale?
McDaniel
Did he play
jersey
at
on.
Yale? Mm-hmm. Did he play football at Yale? Did he say he played football?
He did.
At one
Wide
of those
receiver.
colleges?
Wide receiver.
Okay, so yeah.
So he's even
got a number.
He's
still
even
available.
kindred spirit. He's even kindred spirit, Crypto.
Right. So you can get his Yale jersey in.
Well, I bet he was
get,
loving. I bet he was
Crossman's
loving number
jersey.
5 last night, bro. As a pure wide receiver, he was loving number 5
So
last night.
You add his jersey, add Eichenberg's number, and then whatever the sum is divided by 2, and that's your number.
There you go.
Yep.
Oh, and 0. Don't forget, we'll just make him 0 like Braxton Berrios.
Yeah. It's add all the numbers above all the horrible players on the team.
Or double
divide
0.
that number by that number, and
we'll make
get
him
the
number. We'll make
official
him
number.
double 0.
Yeah.
Anyway, everybody hit the like button. I don't even know how many we got today. Where are we at today? 49 likes. You guys can't even get me to 50. God, you all suck, man. Y'all are terrible. 51 people watching right now on YouTube and only 49 likes. That's pretty dang good, but not good enough. That's too a good. That's not good enough.
Twitter.
I'm not stopping the show till we get 50 likes. Oh, there it is. All right, man. I thought I was going to have to be here all night, Crypto. Make sure. Do you know what time Shake's got the show scheduled for? Crypto 7 or hold on? Let me look it up. I can look for
it'll
it.
be 7 or 8 because we're doing the blitz pickup and then going over to. You might have it for 7 or 8.
So HB made the thumbnail for my show already today, and he's got a cake with a dolphin and all kinds of aqua and orange icing and all that. So he believes that the icing on the cake is going to be that 4-minute drive that we ice the game with. So that's cool. HB's on board.
What,
who did we just get released?
Thumbnail Sunday thumbnail or no?
Oh, the McD breakdown. Key blocking by captains in big runs. Oh my God, really? I don't want to. No, we're not watching that nonsense. No way. So I could sit here and watch you glorify some 2-yard run because, you want to justify Tyreek Hill's new blocking role. No, I ain't partaking in that nonsense.
Oh, Tyreek is getting a blocking role. So now the long arm DBs can push him to the side and get a free run at the quarterback. Great job.
Exactly. Where is
Jesus?
Where is Shane? Oh, I got to hit the live button here. Hold on. Drive time right there. Scheduled for 8:30. Man, that's a pretty late drive home on a Friday night.
Yeah. No, that's because they're doing the blitz pickup. Me and him doing.
Oh, you guys are on. Oh, you guys are going into the blitz pickup tonight.
Right.
Oh, okay. That's different. I got you.
That's
Plus,
why
you
I
know,
say
I mean, 8:30 our time. You know, that's still 6:30. There's still people on the whatever that highway is out there in California that everybody's stuck on at night, trying to get home. You know which one I'm
Highway
talking about?
1
Crypto?
or 5. Yeah.
The 109 or something, or the 104. I
Yeah.
forget which one it is, but you
Yeah.
know which one I'm talking
The
about.
101.
6:30. It's 6:30 their
Interstate
time.
5. Yeah.
Right. So it'll be 6:30 their time when Shake's got the drive time going on. Open panel.
5:30.
All of you that don't know.
Yeah.
So all of you that wanted to say something to me today and really put me in my place and all that and get your voice out, you can come by tonight. Thank you, AC43. Appreciate your like.
Yeah.
You can come by tonight, jump up on the panel, yell at Crypto, get Crypto to turn it up. We all like doing that. And of course, tomorrow I might do something, I might not. But you'll have Ali, which I do see scheduled a what do you call it? You know what you call it. A Wolfpack show. Saturday night Wolfpack. 8:45 Saturday night. We got Ali back in the house. And of course, Insomnia live tonight, Crypto?
Tomorrow. That's tomorrow night.
Well, I mean tonight. I mean
The
tomorrow,
live show
1
tomorrow
a.m.
night.
Right. Oh, okay. Tomorrow, Saturday night, Sunday morning.
Yeah, that's
And that's a
tomorrow night.
live show.
Sunday
Open
morning.
panel.
Yeah, the live show.
Wow. So after
Yeah, we
Ali's
have
done,
people jumping on there.
so after Ali's done with his open panel Wolfpack, you get to
6 hours
slide
plus
right
show,
into
almost.
Insomnia with Crypto and Shake for the open panel.
As long as the coffee can keep you up to about 7 hours running, you can jump
Wow.
on.
Man, packed content
Talk
all the
about
way up until Sunday. And Cap, as he mentioned earlier, has a little league football game to attend and coach. So I will be on the call for the good portion of the game Sunday when the Dolphins go into Buffalo and face their biggest rival at the moment. Biggest obstacle.
Final
whatever you
matchup
want
of
it.
the season between the two teams.
Yep.
That'll
I'll be giving you live
the
reaction.
finale of
play-by-play. And
the last divisional matchup between them.
Yep. Oh, and that's the good
And
news.
we only have 2 division games.
We don't have to play them the rest of the season. That's it for Buffalo this year.
That's it. The season finale. They didn't put it the last game of the season like last year.
Yep.
They wanted
Now,
it to get over with.
I'm waiting, Crypto, out the joke real quick. I'm waiting to set it up for somebody to say, oh, well, what if we see them in the playoffs? I'm waiting for it.
Right. Yeah.
What's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
What is Jim
tomorrow,
Moore when we need him?
Sunday will be the last time we have to face Buffalo this year. So that's the good news.
Yep.
In the meantime,
Chiefs and Ravens. Well, actually, the Ravens already played them. I guess the Chiefs playing them, and the Jets playing one more time. So Patriots got to play them twice. So we got to be rooting for those teams. We got to become Jets and Patriot fans for the remainder of the season.
Right.
How ironic.
So make sure you donate to the channel if you can. We sure could use it. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, go to tftgnetwork.com and bookmark the page. Make it your home page. You can find everything that is the Finn's Tailgate there. And also join Crypto over at that other channel tonight at 7:30 with him and Shake.
Yeah, we'll be on Blitz Pickup. We did a Blitz Pickup exchange, jersey, T-shirt exchange at the game last weekend.
Oh, cool.
So you'll see the video and pictures and stuff
Cool.
of our exchange jersey swaps.
Other than that, hit your notification bell because we got content all weekend long. You might even find me at some random part of the day tomorrow coming to you with a cup of color. So like I said, hit your notification bell, re-click it because sometimes it malfunctions. And we'll see you.
I'll be bringing some in.
I personally will see you later tonight, 8:30 at the Drive Time with Shake Money and, of course, Crypto and the rest of the guys. Until then, everybody, have a great evening and
fins up, everybody.
Man, ladies and gents, my voice is feeling good this weekend.